magazine where you're buying a whole fucking phone book for like $6 that's got a shitload of manga and and ads in it, and then they get the collected volumes later that you could go pick up. Like, converting manga, particularly from just one publisher to an app, it just seems like a more natural transition because it was already released in bulk format. Like, they already were everything in one place if you were buying Shonen Jump. DC is okay, so like I think Viz is a more apt comparison than Shonen Jump, right? Because Shonen Jump is literally just the one magazine. Viz is like the American branch of Kodansha or whatever the fuck. In that sense, they're more similar to comparing it to DC or Marvel, except that DC or Marvel is like a massive umbrella brand that owns all kinds of shit and has all these other subdivisions and stuff. And I would think probably tries to appeal to more demographics, but at the same time, the only comics that are like that anyone buys are like the main superhero comics. It's like, if it wasn't for Spider-Man and Batman, I think both those companies would just evaporate overnight. If there were not Batman comics or were not Spider-Man comics coming out, the entire comic industry would collapse. It's like all being subsidized by the fact that those comics are popular, and in the course of reading those, you might end up reading something else. But manga is similar, where like, if it wasn't for, for a long time it was just Dragon Ball, and that's why they had to keep forcing Akira Toriyama to keep writing it, because he was basically subsidizing the entire manga industry by existing. And eventually Eiichiro Oda took over that, but he has more help, where you got Naruto as a big deal and Bleach was a big deal, and now all kinds of stuff is popping off. Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, these shows that are blowing up on a global level, like right away, because the availability is there. I can see why the DC and Marvel apps would have a much harder time, like, figuring out how do we fucking price this thing, because essentially we're trying to not, like, cannibalize the sales of our mainstream comics that are the only things keeping us alive. Like, if we cannot sell Spider-Man at that jacked up price, then we can't sustain the business. So they probably just need more money than manga does, like, to have the same product. Because if you're Viz, you've got literally all the biggest manga properties there are. I don't think any other manga publishing company could pull off what Viz is doing with those low prices, is I guess what I'm really, really getting at. Like, there's a reason that Shonen Jump collected tankobon in the US were $8 for a long time when everything else was 10. Like, they can just afford to make the price lower because the install base is so much larger. They just reduce the margin on each individual sale for the sake of the overall margin.
Published by Marvel and DC cost a lot of money. Manga does not. And there's a lot of reasons for that. For one, a lot of comics are published in full color, while a lot of manga is done black and white with some color splash pages. The first omnibus for One Piece is volumes 1 through 3, right? That can cost